All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, got to shout out the sponsors, Sovereign Extract, so you can check them out for some great CBD oil. Also, we got THC cartridges, CBD hybrid options, and the like. Also, big shout out to USG Canada. They're putting out great apparel for boxers, MMA fighters, and for fans alike. We've got a big fight going. It is happening October the 17th. It is a bantamweight bout, and it's going to be a really compelling contest between Mark Striegl and Said Nurmagomedov. And I've got Mark on the program right now. How's your day going so far there, Mark?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks. It's Sunday, so day off today, and just doing a little bit of cooking in the kitchen and some meal prep for the week ahead.
No, that's smart, man. And like, what kind of utility does those down days have for you? Just in the sense of like recuperating, recharging the batteries. Like, what do you do on a day like this to, I guess, optimize the efforts for the week ahead?
I mean, you know what they say, Netflix and chill, and and just yeah, just lounging, relaxing. My family is in the Philippines, so we got the time difference, but definitely do some video, spend some time on video with them over Facebook Messenger video, and yeah, just keeping in touch with the family and just relaxing, watching some Netflix, and doing some meal prep.
Yeah, for sure. That's an important thing to do, man. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned the fact that you're kind of distanced from where your family's at. They're like getting in work at Syndicate MMA and all. Like, who are some of the main people you're working with there, like on a training partner level, but also on a coaching level there?
Sorry, you're breaking up a bit. Did you ask who are some of the main people I've been working with here in Vegas?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. I've been training at Syndicate MMA, so I've been working with head coach John Wood, and yeah, there are a ton of great fighters and awesome talent that are there on the Syndicate MMA fight team, and also just passing through the gym on a regular basis. I mean, Syndicate really is, um, one of the top gyms here in Vegas, and I'm blessed and fortunate to be able to work out here, and coming from the Philippines, and just to be base myself here in Vegas at Syndicate MMA. I'm really happy.
Yeah, and you've gotten in some great work over the years for sure. Like I was noticing when you were with One Championship, you got to work with Evolve MMA. So just different mindsets, different martial artists, and probably learning a lot of different techniques from going to such elite camps like that.
No, definitely. Yeah, I spent a year. In Singapore at Evolve MMA, and just getting to work with all the guys there, and pick up different techniques and training philosophies, and just mentalities. It's been great. So it's been a wild and crazy MMA journey, and yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a crazy journey overall, but that can also be said for the microcosm of what's happened in recent months there. I mean, just with the cancellation of your Timur Valiev bout and finding out you have COVID-19 and just the recovery process and all of that. Like, how does it feel to be like getting close to this fight here? Like, is it just like something that you almost like can't let your mind wander with until like you're actually there for the fight week and you're poised in the moment? Like, is the nature of finding out you had COVID last time and just what happened with the fight getting canceled so close to when you're actually there? Is it for this Nurmagomedov fight a situation where it won't almost like feel real until you're like actually there, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm just excited that it's finally happening. I mean, last time that was a huge bummer, man. I mean, it was 3 days before the fight. I was at the fighter hotel. I was checked in, already well along in my weight cutting, and ready to do like my final cut. I mean, I was 3 days out from the fight, so it was 2 days out from the weigh-in, so I was ready to do my final cut to make weight, and I was thinking to myself, like, am I feeling crappy from the weight cut? Because, that's normal to just feel a little out of it. Am I feeling crappy from the weight cut, or is it something else? And yeah, it turned out that it was COVID. It was something else. So I did have all the symptoms, but I'm feeling much better now. I'm feeling 100% fully recovered, and yeah, man, I can't wait to make this happen.
Yeah, and it seemed like you had a good attitude about it. Like, it didn't seem like it was like this hugely devastating thing, like beyond what you needed to process it as. Like, I think you'd likened it to a small setback in a previous interview. So I think that's a great mindset to have in the situation, man.
Yeah, I think I always try to look on the positive side of things, and ultimately, I feel blessed and fortunate that I'm able to, come over here to Vegas from the Philippines, and I get this opportunity with the UFC during these crazy COVID times where so many people sadly have been out of jobs and out of work. And my brother works in the travel industry in Tokyo, Japan, and his work and his job has taken a huge hit. So I'm just fortunate that I was able to come over here, and I did view it as a small setback, and I was just praying that I would get a quick turnaround. And thankfully Ruby Sports and the UFC, of course, granted me this opportunity to fight again right after I recovered. So very, very happy for that.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ruby Sports and Entertainment in there. I was noticing that it's coming up close to a year now being with that group there and everything like that. Can you kind of talk about that partnership and just the benefits of being associated with Ruby Sports and Entertainment?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I have to thank Ruby Sports Entertainment for this opportunity, Danny Rubenstein, because, I was sitting in Baguio. Not sitting. I was with my family. I was with my family in Baguio training and, doing the best I could, during COVID. And I gained a little bit of weight and was just trying to stay fit in case something popped up, of course. Just like a lot of fighters and a lot of people, just wondering what's going to happen. I mean, this was during the first few months of the quarantine, COVID. And, I got a call from my head coach in the Philippines, and he was in contact with Ruby Sports, and they told him that if I could fly over to Vegas and get myself to Vegas, that there would be a very high chance that I could get a fight in the UFC. So I was in Baguio, which is in the mountains of the Philippines. It's about 5 hours north from Manila. Just getting down to Manila was not a hassle, but had some complications in itself, just getting with all the travel restrictions. And then, of course, I had to fly out from Manila to Las Vegas, and that was really tricky. I had a canceled flight, all sorts of complications. But then, I finally made it to Vegas. And then, of course, I got COVID, which I didn't expect, or I didn't think that I'd get, because I was so careful when I traveled and with everything. But I just got it, and then finally here we are, and it's been a wild ride. It's been a roller coaster, but I'm just super excited now.
Yeah, and also, like, in going to Vegas and just certain places you've trained and whatnot, like, I was seeing you had a session at the UFC PI, and you got to meet Forrest Griffin there. So what was it like going to the UFC PI? What was that overall experience like?
Oh, that was super cool. I mean, I remember, it's funny. I remember when I was in high school, and that was when The Ultimate Fighter first came out. And I remember watching Forrest and all these guys on TV, and watching them on The Ultimate Fighter Season 1. And then it's funny, I was on the treadmill at the PI, and I was just working out. And all of a sudden, this big guy with a mask on comes over and starts chatting me up. And I'm like, he's very friendly, and we're just chatting. And I'm thinking, like, this guy's voice kind of sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure who he is, because he's got this giant, like, surgical mask on. It's one of those big masks, Oh, yeah. So I can only see his eyes, but his voice sounds familiar. And then it suddenly clicks in my brain. I'm like, I think that's Forrest Griffin. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to take a chance. So I finished my run, and I'm just stretching, and we're still chatting. And I ask him, I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm a big fan. Can I get a picture? And I'm like, okay, this is the moment of truth. He's going to take down his mask. Either it's going to be some random guy and it's going to be pretty funny, or it's going to be Forrest Griffin, and I guessed correct. And sure enough, I did guess correct. And it was Forrest, and he took down his mask. And I'm like, okay, I knew it. And then I got my picture, and that was like my fanboy moment. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can resonate with that, just also being in high school when that first season of The Ultimate Fighter was going on there. So definitely get where you're coming from, man. But I wanted to talk about the stylistic matchup in this fight here, and I'm sure you've had some people frame questions in similar ways, but I was noticing you'd won the 2019 Southeast Asia Games. You got the gold medal in the combat Sambo event they did there. So real high level Sambo background there and sharpening the skill set in that regard. And I think a lot of people seeing that your opponent is, Said Nurmagomedov, I think like people think this is a very compelling stylistic matchup where the striking and grappling will be melded in a very exciting way for the fans. Like, do you agree with that characterization, and does that excite you as a performer?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that I match up well with Said, and I think that it's gonna make for an action-packed fight. We both have these explosive, dynamic styles, and it's definitely just gonna make for a super exciting, explosive fight for the fans. And yeah, I'm super stoked.
Is he a guy you've watched a great deal of tape on, or do you not normally do like avid tape study of your opponents? Like, I guess what's your awareness of the skill set?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of fighter that watches a little bit at the start, but then beyond that, I kind of just let my coaches analyze the tape and do that for me, because I think the most important thing is to focus on yourself and focus on what you're going to do to your opponent, and focusing on your game plan and imposing your will come fight night.
Yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying on that end there, but I also noticed this one was on Fight Island. Like, are you excited about the prospect of getting out there and just all the dynamics associated with that?
Yeah. I've never been to Abu Dhabi. I've never been to that part of the world, actually. So I'm super excited. And yeah, I mean, the first one was going to be at the Apex Center against Timur. And that didn't happen, of course, because I got COVID. And then now I get to go to Fight Island. So in a way, it's kind of cooler, actually. It was a bummer that I got COVID, but now it's like, oh, wow, I get to go to Fight Island. I get to go to Yas Island, which I've heard so much about. And I get to go to Abu Dhabi for the first time. So, yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, the timeline kind of fell into place in its own way, for sure. But I was kind of doing some research on the old social media there. It seems like you have some pretty epic cheat meals now and again. Like, do you have any like idea for a wild cheat meal after this fight here? Like, are you getting the gears moving, or can you not let your mind wander with that right now?
Yeah, no, to be honest, my mind is, my friends and training partners, people that know me, they know that I'm all about food. I'm a huge foodie. I love food. I love cheese. I love pasta, pizza, and it's probably because I've been competing my whole life, and I'm so used to cutting weight and losing weight from wrestling when I was 7 years old. So, I guess it's ingrained in my being to be hungry and dieting and be thinking about food. But yeah, for after the fight, I definitely have my list. Part of my process before every single fight is I make a list of all the places that I want to eat at come post fight, and all the things that I couldn't eat and I've restricted myself from. So I definitely have a lot of things on that list. I'll be flying back from Abu Dhabi, from Yas Island, straight to Manila, to the Philippines after. So most of the list is in the Philippines. And in Abu Dhabi, I'm not sure how much we're allowed to, leave the hotel and check out different areas because of COVID, of course. But if we are able to wander a bit, I would definitely like to check out the food scene over there. I mean, that definitely excites me.
Yeah, well, hopefully something like that can be afforded to you, because I would probably want to do the same if I was traveling out there. But also, I want to be mindful of your time and the rest of your schedule and everything today, man. So to that point, is there anything you want to add as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, Mark?
No, yeah, just thank you to all my fans and for the support. It's been a wild ride, and please tune in on October 17th. I promise to bring it, and you're not going to see a boring fight. And thank you, Ruby Sports and UFC, for the opportunity, and thank you for the interview, bro.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate you making some time here. This is a very compelling UFC debut here. I mean, just with your one championship past and, URCC featherweight champion. So this is going to be a real good one, and people can check out Said Nurmagomedov against Mark Striegl on the preliminary card for the UFC Fight Night, which, like Mark just said, is coming up on October the 17th. Thanks for all the great time and insights, man. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, and best of luck with the remaining preparations in camp as well.
Thank you, bro. You too, man. Have a good one. Take care.